Exactly how much do we really need in order to be able to retire rich? The 7 questions to help you out right now. Welcome to Sugar Mama's Fireplay, the podcast where we ignite your path to financial independence and an early retirement. I am your host, financial planner, Canna Campbell, and each week we dive deep into the FIRE lifestyle movement, bringing you empowering stories, expert advice, and practical tips to help you take control of your financial future. So whether you're just starting out on your financial journey, welcome, or if you are well on your way to achieving financial independence, this is the place for education, inspiration, and motivation. Even my dogs are getting a bit excited. And I am here for you every Monday morning at 5 a.m. So please make sure you are following this show. So let's turn up the heat on your financial goals and light the way to a brighter, more secure financial future. And as always, please remember that my content is general in nature and educationally based only. All right, let's get started. So today we're diving into a topic that is on everyone's mind right now. Exactly how much money do we really need to feel safe or even, dare I say, rich in retirement? It's an age-old question, and despite various so-called financial experts, I am here to tell you that there is no one-size-fits-all number. Some of these so-called financial experts like to state numbers like $32,000 a year for singles and $46,000 a year for couples, whilst other financial experts like to state $52,000 per annum for single people and up to $73,000 per annum for couples. And then there are those financial experts who simply recommend aiming for approximately 70% of your take-home pay. Now, I don't know about you, but there aren't many people I know right now who are actually living a comfortable life and actually surviving even on 100% of their take-home pay right now with the rising cost of living. So hearing these numbers ranging between $32,000 a year and 70% of your take-home pay really leaves alarm bells ringing in my head very, very loudly. Here is the truth, the cold, hard truth. There is no absolute number. Financial needs are very personal to your circumstances and your spending habits. However, as mentioned, what worries me about these financial expert estimates is that they are dangerously low, and in my opinion, don't leave much for any form of comfortable lifestyle. And if you aren't familiar with who I am and my content, I am a financial planner who is very protective of your financial situation and your financial future. To me, these numbers don't spell out financial wellness. They spell out poverty. I would much rather you overestimate how much you need, allowing you to be far more well prepared and retire with greater freedom and peace of mind, rather than discover during retirement, in the thick of retirement, that you actually don't have enough to live the life that you want, and you are left stuck, panicking, watching your wealth erode away at a rapid speed, where you no longer have the same energy that you have today. You no longer feel sharp in the brain. You no longer feel like you're up to speed with the latest education and training. This potentially leaves you feeling alone, vulnerable, and to a certain degree, worthless. I do not want that for you. So today's episode is not about freaking you out, making you stressed, anxious, or worried. Far from it. What today's episode is about helping you gain a clearer idea as to how much money you need for your retirement. You see, once you have a defined goal, that is, you know how much money you need, you can then start building wealth immediately, moving closer to that goal with each step, and ensuring that every single dollar that you earn is actually redirected towards your financial goals in a far more efficient way, where you can actually see and feel the shifts and breakthroughs as that goal becomes a greater reality for you. So that is the purpose of today's episode. And as one of my favorite financial quote goes, and this is by Denise Stufferfield Thomas, money loves definition and clarity. I know for myself personally, when I have a goal, a really clearly defined goal with a correct deadline, the game plan that is formed shortly after feels so much more doable, manageable, and achievable. All right, so this is where we get started. Step 1. Understand your personal circumstances and your spending needs. How much money do you really need to live comfortably? The answer is, it depends. Financial needs are highly personal and they cannot be averaged out. Unfortunately, those financial experts are giving you dangerous information and misleading you to a certain point. I don't want you to average out your life because you are worthy and deserve so much more. The amount of money that you need for your comfortable retirement varies greatly depending on your spending levels, your value system, and your goals and dreams. So I'm going to give you 7 lifestyle questions right now to help work out how much money you want. So by all means, pause this podcast, this episode, grab a piece of paper and a pen, and just quickly jot down some of your answers as I go through these questions with you right now. All right, question 1. Where do you want to live when you retire? Now, this may seem like an odd question, but we need to think about it. We all know that if you live in a city, your cost of living tends to be a lot higher than, say, someone living in a regional town. However, if you live in a regional town, what is the cost of living looking like there? And do you need to factor in transport so that you can get between the regional town and a city to see family and friends or to access certain infrastructure such as hospitals? Or perhaps you would like to maybe look at retiring and living overseas. No problem. What does that cost of living look like? And what does the tax system look like there? These are all things you need to just think about, or at least start thinking about. Question 2. Will you be renting, or will you still have a mortgage when you retire? Or will you actually own your home outright by retirement date? Now, this is an important question because it will obviously impact how much money you need. Obviously, if you've got to factor in rent, that is going to mean that you need a bit more income than someone who owns their home outright. But that doesn't mean that you are scot-free if you own your home outright, or even if you actually have a mortgage, because you need to factor in those maintenance costs that tend to be attached with property that you wouldn't necessarily incur if you're renting. And this is not just basic maintenance like a fresh coat of paint and some new carpet every 7 years or so, but what potential modifications do you need to make to your home so that you can continue on living it and it suits your needs? All these little things really do add up. You need to know this so you can work out the correct number, the true number for yourself. Question 3. What does your current cost of living add up to? And are you happy with this same lifestyle, quality in retirement, or do you actually want more? Now, there is no wrong or right answer here. I just want you to start thinking about these things so that you know and understand what you want, and we can start working towards achieving this. And the sort of things you would consider here are, do you are someone who likes wining and dining in a new restaurant each week? Or perhaps you're someone who knows that they need to replace cars every sort of 5 years or 7 years. And what about appliances? You're going to need a new fridge, washing machine. All these little things add up. What about shopping, clothes, those sorts of things? Giving money to charity. All these come into play. So think about, what does your current lifestyle look like? Is that the same lifestyle that you want for retirement? Is it less? Is it more? Just think about it. Question 4. Do you plan to travel during retirement? If so, how much and at what cost? International or domestic? Previously, when I've sat down with clients to talk about retirement income and how much they really need, we would always go through the cost of travel. Do you want an international holiday, 1 per year, or do you want 2 domestic holidays per year? There's no wrong or right answer, as I said. You need to think about, what does that look like? How much will that cost? Will that involve traveling on frequent flyer points and staying in youth hostels or backpacking? Or will that involve business class flights and staying in luxurious hotels? Do you want to go on a holiday once a year or twice a year? Think about the cost of this and think about what is important to you and what you would value, especially after so many years of working so hard. Question 5. How much emergency money do you need? Now, this is a question not just for people who are approaching retirement or in retirement, but absolutely everyone. And I do have an older episode that's focused purely on helping you work out how much emergency money you need. But to remind everyone, there is no magical formula and there is no perfect one-size-fits-all number. How much money you need, that is emergency money you need, really does vary. And it varies depending on your financial situation, your financial responsibilities, what insurance policies you already have in place and the excess attached to those insurance policies, what safety nets you've got, all those sorts of things come into play. But for anyone that is approaching retirement or in retirement, generally speaking, I would recommend using my sleep well at night strategy, which is where you have 2 years worth of living expenses set aside in a separate savings account for peace of mind. Now, the reason why I recommend 2 years worth of living expenses is assuming that your money is invested and you're living off, for example, dividends through shares. If the market is to have a natural correction, pullback, even a recession, history shows that it takes on average 18 months for the market to recover. Now, by having 2 years worth of living expenses, what that essentially means is you don't need to worry about having to sell anything in your portfolio. You can literally leave your portfolio as is, let nature take its course, and live off that cash supply for the next 2 years, buying time for your portfolio to recover and get back to what it was previously. So you're never forced to crystallize a loss, which is something you always want to avoid doing. And not only have we got 2 years, which is 6 months more, it's great peace of mind to know that you've got that additional buffer. Hence, sleep well at night. Name tag. Question 6. How long do you expect your retirement to last? Now, I know this is a very morbid question, but it's an important one. So people who are retiring now might think that they will only need 20 years worth of income, but if medical technology continues, they may actually end up living well into their 90s. So instead of needing 20 years worth of income, they actually need to start thinking about having 30 years worth of income. These are the important things to think about right now. Also, on that note, are you happy for your retirement money to be funded solely from your superannuation via, say, an allocated pension, so that you are able to make the most of the tax savings that are under current legislation? Again, this is an important question because this may mean you can actually have less money saved up or invested in your superannuation or allocated pension because of that tax efficiency. That tax savings could save you $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year in income tax, which means that money has greater longevity. So this is why I always bang on and say super is sexy. It is so incredibly tax effective both today and well into the long run. But of course, always get personal advice because there are restrictions with super. And then finally, question 7. Do you want to leave money for your estate or loved ones? That is an inheritance. Or are you happy to literally spend absolutely everything and leave this planet, this universe, with nothing? Again, these are important questions, particularly when we look at the younger generations coming through and the cost of property. A lot of people understand that there is no way that their loved ones, their children, their grandchildren are going to be able to get their foot in the door of the property market without inheriting some money. So for some people, this is very important. They want to be able to leave a deposit, or perhaps it's not even about property, it's about educational costs. This, for some people, is very important, and it may be important to you, but it may not be. But you need to ask yourself and think about this. And these lifestyle choices are just starting points to get you thinking. You also need to take into consideration things like healthcare needs, potential medical expenses. You might have an accident, you might get ill, you might need to travel overseas to get a certain type of treatment. You may need to invest in alternative treatment. And of course, where you live. All of these things can significantly impact your required retirement savings, or even better, required retirement investment portfolio. All right, let's move on to step 2. Grab your calculator. Once you've written down your answers, grab a calculator and start adding up what the annual cost of this lifestyle would actually look like. Don't be afraid to round things up. You can use your current living expenses as a baseline if you're struggling a little bit. That's okay. But just remember that these are going to be more of estimates and just a rough guide than actually exact numbers for you. And then from there, you can add or subtract from that number based on your retirement plans. So for example, if your current lifestyle, excluding mortgage repayments, costs, say, $80,000 per year, and you want to add, say, an international holiday at, say, $20,000 per annum, and your new annual expenses would then be looking at around about $100,000. However, if you plan on moving to, say, a regional town on the coastline, quite a life, where the cost of living might be cheaper, you might want to deduct, say, $5,000 a year from that number. And if, assuming your mortgage is paid off, you still might want to allocate, say, $10,000 per annum for home maintenance. Now, already we're sitting at a required annual income of $105,000 per annum after tax. Now, for emergency savings, if you like my idea of the sleep well at night strategy, you might want to allocate $210,000 in a savings account, which covers 2 years' worth of those living expenses at $105,000 per annum. And you are aware of medical technology and you're feeling fit and strong and healthy and take good care of yourself, you might want to assume that life expectancy is probably going to be around about mid-90s for yourself. So you're going to need about 30 years worth of retirement income. And in this example, let's say we want to leave $1 million in today's dollars for our children or grandchildren. Now, that $1 million in today's terms is actually going to be about $2.1 million in 30 years' time, assuming an average inflation rate of 2.5% per annum. See how we now know numbers? We've got a clearer idea as to how much money we really do need. Exploring these numbers, that is, investing time exploring these numbers, gives you a much clearer picture of what you really need to start planning for. And as I said, it's better to discover this sooner rather than later, which is exactly why I'm sharing this episode with you right now. All right, now we've got some ideas about numbers. Let's calculate the true number, step 3. All right, now we know in our example that we want $105,000 per annum after tax. Again, assuming we're using an allocated pension here, which is currently tax-free under current legislation. We need $210,000 in emergency money, and we want our money to last approximately 30 years. And we're happy, as I said, to live off superannuation through an allocated pension. Now, from this, we can start to look at actually a net figure to work towards as a goal. So the next step is now to use a retirement drawdown calculator. I've linked my favorite one in the podcast notes for you, and please know that we will be adding one to the Sugar Mama website soon. But for now, if we assume an average starting account balance of around $2.18 million, drawing an annual income of $105,000 adjusted for inflation each year, so that means that $105,000 each year will actually increase by 2.5%, so you're never going backwards. You can keep up with the rising cost of living. And assuming an average annual net return of 6.5% per annum, these funds should actually last around 30 years. But guess what? It actually leaves just over $2.1 million in super for your estate. So there you have it, $2.18 million in super if you want $100,000 a year or $105,000 per annum, and to be able to leave the equivalent of today's $1 million to your estate. Now, if we add back in that $210,000 for emergency money, this means in total you need approximately $2,400,000 for retirement. That is $2.4 million for retirement. Interestingly, though, if you didn't actually want to leave anything for your estate, you would only need $1.85 million in super plus your emergency fund. However, here's the interesting part. That $340,000 difference in retirement balance can actually make a huge difference in comfort, wealth, and security, as this $340,000 can actually serve as your $2 million estate, or as a greater sense of comfort and peace of mind if the rising cost of living gets out of hand again, or something happens to you and you need to eat into your wealth. You've got a safe buffer there for yourself. Now, this really highlights the importance of knowing your true, correct, and even best numbers so that you can start preparing now and make the most of every single opportunity today. Wouldn't you rather know this now, that what you need more, than discover it when it's too late? As I said, we're older, we're slower, we're more tired, we're more achy. Know this now. And If you are listening to this and thinking, oh my goodness, I need a lot more money in superannuation than I originally thought, great. I'm glad you're listening. I'm glad you're starting to wake up and realizing the dangers of those financial experts. So your next question is, okay, great, Canna, I now know, but how am I possibly going to get $2.4 million in super? All right, don't panic, don't worry. I've got your back. I'm here for you. In next week's episode, I'm going to be breaking down all the different ideas and strategies to help you make this happen to the best of your ability. I'm going to be exploring lots of different ideas that you may have never have heard about or thought about before, so that you actually understand this is possible if you start working on your superannuation goals. So again, please make sure that you are following this show so that you know when this episode comes out next Monday morning. All right, let's move on to the final step, step 4, and that is the importance of professional financial advice. A good starting point for every single Australian, regardless of your financial situation or not, is to always seek professional financial advice. Not financial experts, not financial influencers, financial planners, experienced, qualified, and licensed financial planners, especially regarding retirement spending and understanding how the age pension and allocated pension may help you in achieving your retirement goals and dreams. A financial planner can actually sit down with you and help you design and create a personalized financial plan that aligns with your goals, your lifestyle, your deadlines, and your risk and your longevity expectations. A financial planner is not just about helping you pick the right investments. Yes, they will help you with that and do that work for you, but most of the value from a financial planner actually comes in creating the strategy and creating a strategy that allows you to efficiently achieve your goals. And in fact, I have to say, another value of a financial planner is, and the one that is quite often forgotten about or not even realized, is when a financial planner can actually stop you from making a disastrous mistake or a decision that's going to come with great regret or consequences. This is why you need to see a financial planner. And I will say the legislation does change. It does get updated, but also at the same time, different opportunities present themselves. Different loopholes, that is legal loopholes, will also come up where a forward planning, proactive financial planner knows your situation, knows your goals, and actually can say, hey, we need to tweak and change the strategy. This will actually help you significantly and make a big difference and save you time and money. This is why you need to see a financial planner for your retirement planning. All right, in summary, the amount of money you need to feel safe or even rich in retirement is deeply personal. It is influenced by your unique circumstances and goals. It is essential to prepare well ahead. Start thinking about what you want, what you need, and what you value. And then, of course, always, if you feel ready, seek professional financial advice to boost your confidence. Make sure that you are informed, educated, and have all the information you know to make educated decisions that are going to benefit yourself, your mental health, as well as your financial wellness, and ensure that you are on the right track. Remember, financial empowerment starts with understanding your needs and taking proactive steps towards achieving your goals. All right, thank you everyone for listening to today's episode on Sugar Mama's Fireplay. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with your friends and leave a review. Please don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Sugar Mama TV for more tips and inspiration on empowering your financial future. And I will see you next Monday, where we'll talk about how to build this $2.4 million superannuation treasure chest for your long, luxurious, and fabulous retirement. Ciao for now.